Yeah. What is the deal? What's the deal, y'all? We are live and it is popping boxing this weekend. Always boxing is just, especially in 2025, has been full of material. Canelo addresses Benavidez again and kind of downplays him. Bud Crawford disrespects Errol Spence. There's fights Pater versus Tevin Farmer. We're gonna get into that with my homegirl, Chevy Red. After this.
What up, y'all?
Chev, what's good, girl?
What's going on, Norbs? Listen, your intro music is fire.
I'm trying to catch up to you. I know last time I saw you, you were rubbing elbows with the PBC staff. You was out there, getting interviews, getting ordered with my best friend in the whole world, Gervonta Tank Davis. You out there making noise,
Your bestie. Listen, I'm out here working, out here just trying to make moves, get noticed, get seen. I think it's working a little bit.
No, you're doing your thing. I can't front. You're popping right now. Like you said, I'm not awesome like you were saying earlier, but I try.
Dope.
But you said dope. It was dope. All right,
dope.
I'm gonna definitely try to be in the building for some of these events coming up. So I'm gonna try to catch up to you. It's not gonna be easy. You out there, hustling and busting.
But shaking and moving.
How was that experience at that PBC fight? Like, how did you enjoy it?
I thought it was good. Everything was really good. As far as organization, everything, I thought it was good. Everybody there, a lot of the people were willing to interview. It wasn't like pulling teeth trying to get people to talk to me. The vibes were dope. The energy was great, especially during the press conference. And even the public workouts and the gym. It was dope to be in that atmosphere, for it to actually be in the gym. That was my first time going to a public workout where it was in the gym. So it was really dope.
I found it weird that he didn't work out. Like, he just kind of showed up with his girlfriend's sweatpants and it was a little weird. Like, I was like, okay, what's going on here, Tank?
It was pretty disappointing because we waited a while. I wouldn't say he was too late or whatever, but we waited a little bit. Everybody anticipating. He got in, he spoke, and then bounced. Like, it was like, what? But hey, it's Tank. He's the man of mystery.
He's the man. That whole scenario was kind of crazy, from the announcement of the Lamont Roach fight to everything that transpired, even to the knee. Like, that's the first time I've seen everything just be weird. Like, when Ryan Garcia was in his phase, right? It was upset, but literally something happened after another with this Tank situation that was crazy. But you did do your job, you did do your thing, and well, so shouts to you.
Thank you, I appreciate that. It definitely feels good to have the work being noticed.
No, as you should, but a lot of boxing left in 2025. We've already got a Canelo fight coming up versus Williams Cullen. Recently, he sat with Fight Hype magazine and had these words to say, which I don't even know how to even explain it anymore. Wait, I don't even know if I have the thing up here. Hold on. Oh, wait, no, I don't even have it. Oh, yes, I do. Here it is. Hold on.
And I know that obviously one of the names that has been kind of like in pursuit of you, and I've literally seen you answer multiple questions about this guy, but there was something about the way David Benavidez was pursuing a fight with you. And it seemed like it was maybe annoying to you. But what aspect, and correct me if I'm wrong, but what aspect of his approach kind of rubbed you the wrong way?
I don't know. I don't really know how to answer this question, but I think the way he talked, he think he's Superman, right? And he is very disrespect, not just with me, with everybody. and he's accomplished nothing. He's not even a champion, and he's not even in my weight class already. And it's a lot of things there doesn't make sense. And plus, at this point in my career, I can do whatever I want.
Yeah. And I agree. So now
And you guys can take anything away from my career, from my legacy, for anything, because if you see my resume, I fought everybody out there, all the elite fighters out there. So I'm very good with my resume.
Yeah, it's a lot of fighters actually. The thing is,
so he had those words to say, and
I agree 100% with everything he said.
Are you serious? I mean, listen, his resume is crazy. Let's not get it twisted. I definitely agree with that. But I will say this, and just being honest, he was the number one contender, David Benavidez. His last 4 fights has been extremely impressive, and this is the most dangerous guy out there to fight him. And to me, and I love Canelo. Canelo's my guy. I just feel as if, it's going to continue to come up because you are arguably the greatest Mexican fighter of all time, and this guy he's the triple G of 2020 and above or whatnot for him. And I feel like if he doesn't fight David Benavidez, I feel like he's going to get critiqued bad. I mean,
okay. So a couple things, right? His resume, like he said, his resume, his resume, fantastic, right? He fought everybody pretty much. But also, like you said, like he doesn't have anything left to prove. I was shocked with the 4-fight deal with Turkey because, listen, I'm Canelo. I'm getting out of here. Listen, I don't owe y'all nothing. I don't owe y'all this Benavidez fight, right? And now speaking about Benavidez, you said that he's the triple G of this.
For him now.
How? Because he fought Caleb Plant. Like, who else? I don't know. I just feel like he needs to fight a higher caliber of fighter, right? In order to be to that. Benavidez. Well, but we're gonna go and say that because he fought and beat Morrell that, oh my God, like no.
Well, people believe Morrell was one of them guys and he got him out of there. He beat Caleb Plant.
But did he get him out of there? He ain't get him out of there. He went the distance.
He beat the hell out of him.
Yeah, but no, it wasn't enough for him to be considered on that. For me, it wasn't enough for him to be considered on that level and to get the shot against Bivol. Bivol's gonna make him look like this.
I mean, listen, you know what's crazy? I don't think he beats Bivol, but if he does beat Bivol, it just it puts a lot more pressure on Canelo to make that fight happen. Like, if he does not take that fight, I really believe, and people he's definitely the most critiqued fighter.
So now let me ask you this. Should Crawford get that pressure now that he's moving up to the weight class?
What do you mean pressure? Explain.
Should Benavidez fight Crawford? Because Crawford is one of the best pound for pound.
You know what's funny? But Terence Crawford actually addressed that. He was like, listen, Canelo's not that big of a guy. He was like, he goes, Benavidez is about 6'2", 6'3". He walks around about 200 pounds. He's like, bro, he goes, I can do it, but Canelo is not that much bigger than me. He's, Canelo's kind of fighting up. So he kind of said that, he addressed that, but he's not going to fight Benavidez. And you got to think about it.
Right.
Canelo's the check. But I mean, listen, let's just say the next 4 fights, let's say the next 2 fights, right? He has a 4-fight deal with Turkey. He beats Crawford. And let's say the next 2 fights, Benavidez goes out and beats what's his name? The Irish guy that he's about to fight. Man, I forgot his name. Callum Smith. I think he's Irish, whatever. Callum Smith, and he goes and let's say he goes and takes the belts from Bivol. I mean, at that point, Bivol did beat Canelo. If Canelo doesn't take that fight as a 3rd fight in his 4-fight deal, it's kind of crazy. And I just feel like Canelo is, and he's talking about, he disrespects, he doesn't know how to talk to people. I mean, this is boxing.
That part I'm kind of like, this is boxing. Of course, everybody's gonna talk their mess, Yeah. I'm not about to be like, hey, can I please have this fight with you, sir?
When it comes to Benavidez, for some strange reason, this guy rubs him the wrong way. And listen, I'm a defender of Canelo. I'm a huge Canelo fan, but it's it's really hard to defend Canelo when what you're saying is he was disrespectful to me. You know, so was Caleb Plant. So
Yeah.
was Edgar Berlanga. And, you know, I get it. The approach to the fight, you know, he's saying these guys got to be respectful. But, you know, Benavidez, I think it's a combination of two things. One, he understands how dangerous David Benavidez is. He really does. David Benavidez is a dangerous fighter. He's a very good fighter. He's a young fighter. He's a big fighter. I mean,
you think all this fits of fury? You think those like hurt when he's doing that?
I mean, ask Caleb Plant. I mean, ask Boo Boo. Boo Boo said shit. He was huge.
Not the regular punches. When he's doing all these 35 punches in 2 seconds, you think those actually hurt?
Chef, I believe.
I don't know. I need somebody to answer that. That's fought him.
I think it does. I mean, listen, I believe that Benavidez, and listen again, I think Canelo will win that fight, but he's gonna have a lot to deal with. Benavidez is very, very active. He's very young. He throws punches and bunches. You know, I mean, sometimes you know he's a better defender than what people think. He is the biggest threat to beating Canelo outside of a Bivol. You know what I mean? I mean, that's how I feel. I mean. And, you know, I feel like it'll be such a big fight. I think he'll sell 1 million or better in pay-per-views. If he sold, what was it, 700,000 versus Berlanga? Yeah. Berlanga? Are you kidding me? I mean, what do you think Benavidez does?
Listen, can we talk about Berlanga for a second? Because
sure. Please.
Like
this is
you know how when if you're a certain race or whatever and you don't eat a certain food or whatever, they're gonna be like they're like, oh, we're gonna pull your card. Listen, I'm pulling his Puerto Rican card. I'm trading him to somebody else because
we already did that. We traded him for Canelo.
We did that. Listen, I'm over that.
what happened? What did he say? The rematch thing he said? Like, I don't know what the hell he was talking about last time.
I don't know, but that last fight was just.
Oh, you talking about against Manteca? That's what he fought, Danny Manteca. Yeah, no, that was bad.
Yeah, and it's just like how do you get even any credit for that? Like, what?
Who the hell is calling?
I don't know. I don't. Yeah.
I mean, think about this for a second, Chef. Just really think about this for a second, right? Mm-hmm. This is the same guy that had a parade, literally had a parade, a celebration, for basically lasting 12 rounds and not getting knocked out. I've never seen it before. It was a loss. I mean, you know, people were surprised that he sustained or didn't get knocked out or whatnot. But he's the guy that's walking around 200 pounds. Canelo's not a big guy. I don't think he did much. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't surprise me. He is very delusional. Don't get it twisted. His people hit me up all the time. They're like, "Oh, you know, how can you hate on him? You're Puerto Rican. You're not supporting him." I'm like, I can't lie. Like him saying he's the cash cow, he's the A side. He got some popularity, but I feel like all that hinges on his next opponent. If he fights Caleb, right? I think Caleb gets him out of there. I mean, what happens then? You know, Steven Nelson called him out. Munguia. He wants to fight Munguia. He's saying that's going to be 700,000 buys. It's not going to be 700,000 buys.
Pacheco. That was later.
I just feel like this is what I'm going to say. I feel like his team, Kevin Connolly and everybody in his camp, how you call it, basically, you know, have done a great job of protecting him. They got him the Canelo fight without really having a significant win.
Yeah, so, I agree with that. Mm-hmm.
So you know they have definitely kept him. How you call that? You know, they've kept him safe, and you know I feel like they're trying to capitalize without taking the biggest risk. What did Floyd take at the biggest bag with the least risk, and they're following that model. But I feel like he is going to get exposed this year. I don't think that he's going to continue. I mean, I don't know, man. But when he called for a Canelo rematch,
I don't think it's I don't think it's a good look. I think if anything, it's gonna hurt more. So you know the popularity and everything, and you know I'm Boricua too, right? And it's not hating. It's just stating the facts. Like what? Right. I mean, like who said it? Was the Oscars? Like he threw a parade for a loss. Like, and that's true, and I get it. Now he fought Canelo. He did great. He earned a lot of respect in that fight, of course. You know what I mean? But I mean, everything that came after that was just like, bro,
No, I mean,
go to the net.
I feel like in terms of respect, I feel like he surprised people that he got knocked out. But now it's like, all right, you got Canelo, you lost, you celebrated. What are you gonna do now? What are you gonna do to sustain your career moving forward? What are you gonna? You calling for rematch with Canelo? What are you gonna do to warrant that? I mean, it's just a lot of throwing names out there. I'm gonna go to heavyweight. I'm gonna go fight Bivol. I'm gonna do this. All of these guys that you're naming, I'm gonna be honest, I don't believe he can beat. I heard Trevor McCumbee was trying to make a fight with him. They didn't respond.
Listen, speaking of McCumbee, I would like. So I commented on somebody else's status on Instagram that was talking about Benavidez and facing Bivol, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, but yeah, I don't think he's ready for Bivol, right? I think he needs to have another fight, but a big fight. You know what I mean? Like somebody for real. Like, and I was
Who's not
thinking
ready
Trevor
for Bivol?
McCumbee. Like, I
Oh,
think that would be a good test for Benavidez. Huh? Benavidez. I think that he should have another fight prior to fighting Bivol, but somebody that's at a higher caliber. You know, like I think that would be a good fight for him.
No, I mean, that's what I'm saying. A lot of people saying for Benavidez to fight Caleb Smith.
We glitching. You got that Teddy Riley Wi-Fi?
No, my Wi-Fi is good. I think it's yours, your reception, but it seems like it's going back. But Caleb Smith is saying will be a good fight. He just had a great fight on that Riyadh card. But I want to see what Berlanga is gonna do. I want to see who he's gonna fight. But I mean, I think Benavidez is gonna take the Caleb Smith fight. I don't know if he screwed himself over with Turki Al-Asik though, because Turki Al-Asik was kind of upset at him for the negotiations for him to fight for the belts against Bivol, and he basically was like, "Yo, like, take it or leave it, dude. I'm out.
I'm over it."
Yeah, which is kind of crazy. If you're Benavidez, like, you kind of looking at him like, "Damn, bro, like, play the shit out of me, dog." Like, and it's tough because with that Dana White deal going on and all that, if you're not in Turkey's good graces, man, if he's successful at what he does, there's gonna be a lot of people upset, literally.
Right. Now I have a question about that. Speaking of the Dana White and Turkey, when they put out the list of their payouts and everything, their pricing. What do you think about that? Because I saw a lot of people like, "Oh, that's good, especially if you're coming up and blah blah." But I'm sitting there like, these prices though, that's not what the fighter is going to get. That's what they're gonna get, and then you have to minus for the expenses of the teams and all of this. Like, they're not gonna be walking away with that.
Well, the top guys in boxing, like, they're not seeing that much. Like, let's be honest, Teofimo's seeing like 800,000 most he ever saw, right? But
that's my best friend.
I love Teo. I like Teo.
Oh God, I do not.
I know, but the majority of boxers don't get that much bread. It's kind of along the same line. I had Christine on, and she was saying that even champions are fighting for like 30,000, especially the women that aren't getting the right looks, and they're champions. So, I mean, it's going to be beneficial for a lot of people that don't want to negotiate or can't or get. This guy's getting offered like $3,000 for a fight, so you can only imagine how crazy that is. So, it has its pluses and its minuses. But listen, the reason Dana White was brought in was because Turkey was losing a shitload of money just overpaying boxers, and Dana White doesn't do that. He has the UFC throwing events literally every freaking week, and he's not paying nobody millions. I think the cap was like 750,000 for a few of those guys, outside of when McGregor fought Floyd. But for the most part, he puts out a product that makes money, and he was tired of that shit. Like, to be honest, so it's a tough pill to swallow, but I think that's more to set the precedent for the future of boxing. And there's going to be a lot of pushback, but at the same time, you got to kind of look at the whole circle, right? So Turkey is now with TKO, right? TKO owns WWE and what's it called? And UFC, right? Now this is the thing. TKO has the connections and the deal with MVP and Netflix. And where's the Terence Crawford fight apparently supposed to be at versus Canelo? It's going to be on Netflix. So you got to kind of look at it like there's no networks really putting out fights. Amazon's pretty much done with it. They're not going to put up no more money. The Zone funded by Turkey Al-Asik, but if he's working with TKO, why would he want to work with the Zone? So, and Netflix is coming into the picture. So it almost looks like they're all kind of merging together.
Yeah.
Form this monopoly that might take out all these guys, and now the promoters are going to be left scrambling, trying to survive against these individuals because Turkey can pay the top guys. That's why he signed Canelo to a 4-fight deal. That's why he went Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia off the table. That's why he got Shakur in his pocket. Only person he doesn't really have is Gervonta. That's the only big fight, right? That's not under Riyadh's season. So I feel like they have a well laid out plan where they're pretty much trying to monopolize it and kind of make it similar to like an NFL and NBA where it's one league, one shield, and it is what it is. So
yeah.
And I don't know if you heard the rumors. Netflix, they announced the rematch with Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor, right?
Yes.
They're talking about Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury, right? Canelo and Terence Crawford, right? So they've already made adjustments. And this is the crazy thing. Even the Canelo fight on May 3rd, they're going to do it in Saudi, but it's going to be on American times. So they're already kind of fixing some of the bugs. Yeah. So it's going to be tough to compete against Turkey, especially when all of these promoters were relying on him. And with no TV deals and people willing to put up money, boxing might be bending a knee similar to Gervonta to the Turk. I don't know, man. And it's kind of crazy.
Listen, it's like an uneasy feeling, right? It's just like what's gonna happen? What's next? And then for me it's like, man, but can you really replace the history and longevity and everything of Golden Boy, of Top Rank? Like, can we really just wipe them out like that?
I mean, if they don't have the funding behind them, they're not going to throw events, and if their fighters are gone. But I think what's going to eventually happen is I think he's going to buy them or put them in. It's going to be like how the NFL has teams, right? They have the Bears, the Giants. I think he's going to make Golden Boy or maybe all these individuals and allow them to continue to bring people in and pay them well and maybe do a revenue sharing type of thing. I think maybe some type of concept like that might make it feasible to them because they're not going to be able to compete with Turkey Al-Asik. I don't think so. And listen, they've already showed reluctancy to want to pay Gervonta that much or these fighters. Remember when Canelo wanted to fight Munguia, they didn't want to pay him that amount. They didn't want to pay him that amount to fight Charlo. So there's already been like, I'm not paying that. So yeah, it's going to be very hard to compete, and especially if Netflix is. Look at this. Netflix got the WWE Monday Night Raw. WWE is huge. They got UFC. They're about to get a game, one of the games, the NFL games during the week. I think it's like a Friday or a Wednesday. So they're already getting into live sports. So now they come around and go take boxing. It's gonna be a tough. Yeah. So I mean,
speaking of WWE.
Yeah.
Side note. The announcer for Top Rank, Mark Chinook, has left and went to WWE. He's going to be the announcer for the WWE now. So I'm waiting for Top Rank to call me. So if anybody in this live is with Top Rank or working with Top Rank, let them know your girl's ready. Okay, I'm ready to announce these Top Rank fights.
I don't think I've never seen a woman announcer, so you might be able to crack history. Just keep it going. But listen,
I'm telling you.
Look at all of the women that are now getting that push. MVP just signed 4 new girls. They signed Alicia Bumgarner. Amanda. They made Amanda Serrano the head of the women's department and pushing it forward. Jake Paul has really pushed women combat sports.
Yeah.
I think women's sports made either 2.3 or 3.2 billion dollars this year. The explosion of Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Amanda Serrano, Clarissa
Yeah.
Shields. Women are really starting to get props. They get NIL deals. Angel
Yeah.
Reese is a millionaire from that. Nike, I don't know who she signed to, but they Caitlin Clark. So women are now on the uprising, and if you're not ahead of the game, you're gonna get left behind. And a lot of did not push these ladies like they should. I feel like there's more women getting pushed now than ever in boxing. You know what I mean? When Layla Ali was doing it, it was Layla Ali, Christy Martin. You know what I mean?
And now it's Top Rank just signed another woman.
Mhm.
So would that bring Top Rank's total of women to like 4?
I mean, listen, Golden Boy's biggest fighter right now, outside of Virgil Ortiz, probably Gabrielle Fandora.
She's gonna be fighting on the 19th also.
Yeah, either 13 or 19, one of those two. But
Yeah.
Gabby's coming out. So there's a lot of women, bro. Like I'm watching, I'm like, yo, this is kind of crazy. You know what I mean? They're now starting to
listen.
internet beef. So, you know, I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's great. I love to see it. Next week I'll be in Vegas for the Women's Boxing Summit. I cannot wait to be in the rooms with all these beautiful, badass women. Like, I'm super excited. You know, hopefully my name starts getting thrown around in it. So, you know, we working on it.
Get there. It's gonna get that got you. You know, we gonna figure this out. But no, listen, women's sports. That's why a lot of people get mad at me when I shout out Jake Paul. And I'm like, bro, like he's done a lot for women's sports. I mean, maybe it's a coincidence, but you know, bringing in, giving her a lifetime contract with Amanda Serrano, giving her the power to put more females on. I think, you know, you got to give him credit. And a lot of people don't like him. They call him a fake fighter, all this.
Now, see, I'm one of those people, not saying so much fake fighter, but just the whole, I don't know, just feel real gimmicky when it comes to Puerto Rico. And, you know, as a Boricua, we take our island seriously, you know? So that's the only thing really I don't like about Jake Paul. Yeah, the El Gallo. I mean, just everything. And then the whole thing with Tyson and everything. It's just like, come on, the gimmicks or whatever on that side. But I'm giving props and credit for what he's doing for the women now because it's dope. And, you know, it's for the women. It's not him. Like, it's not for him. It's the women. It's a bigger, you know, movement.
No, and, you know, he has shed light on Puerto Rico. There's been more events in Puerto Rico, boxing events, since he's been out there. So he had I think he had a main event out there. Was it like a year ago, 2 years ago? I mean, I can't be mad at him. He's listen. I don't think he's a great fighter, but I mean, at the end of the day, Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor got 63 million views on that fight. A lot of that had to do with what Jake did, and Amanda wouldn't be a millionaire if it wasn't for Jake. He was getting barely paid, you know. So.
For sure, I give credit for that, for sure.
I've heard stories of Jake giving money, purse money of his own to other fighters because they didn't get paid a lot or they get paid enough. So, you know, a lot of for the negative stuff that people say in terms of who he is as a fighter, as a person, I feel like Jake is on another level. Just being honest.
You know? Now, see that. One of my points when I was speaking to Tiara Brown the other day when I interviewed her was speaking on people getting to know her, right? Just because they're going off of just what the internet says or what Sky was saying. And I said, it's really important to get to know people. So taking my own advice, of course, you know, I would definitely like to get to know a little bit more about Jake Paul. You know, what I'm going by, again, it's the internet and everything. And, you know, in the interview he did with, what is the media guy? I don't know how to say his name. Errol Spence. And he put his gloves. He literally put his gloves like this on his head as Errol is interviewing him. And I'm like, the disrespect. If that man had to touch my curls, we would have been banging right there. Like, what? I mean, and so that rubbed me the wrong way too, you know?
Jake is a clown. I mean, not in a bad way. He likes to troll. He likes to mess with people. He has a different type of sense of humor. But his impact on a lot of people, and how
Mhm.
successful they've been, I can't necessarily be mad at him for that. You know, I'm just,
Yeah, no, of course not. He give credit where credit is due. He's definitely doing his thing. And listen, MVP Promotions, female ring announcer. I'm just
yeah, listen, you're gonna be out there this week, so I'm not mad at that.
yeah.
He showed you that the Bud. I mean, did you hear what Bud said about Errol Spence not being a Hall of Famer?
Let's talk about it because now I'm side-eyeing Bud like, my guy.
It was crazy. I mean, you know, a lot of people were upset at him, and somebody bring, I think Ray Jackson. Shout out to Ray Jackson. He brought up a point and was like, "Yo, if you thinking Errol Spence is not a Hall of Famer, right? That's the best name on your resume. So how can you be a Hall of Famer when the best person you beat is?" And when he said that, I was like, "Oh shit! Not for nothing. That's kind of
Listen,
crazy."
and
Oh,
I feel like when people say statements like this or say this person is not that and not that, they don't think about that. They don't take that 2 seconds to think about that. They're like, oh, wait, I fought this person.
yeah, no, it's
And,
kind of
you know, but he is the biggest name on my resume. Like, I just feel like people don't think about it. And I mean, I just think that
you breaking up. You got that bad Wi-Fi. Shout out to my guy Jamel Henry. We kind of just going over everything that's going on this week. You know, Bud Crawford did a bunch of. He had a lot of media clips this week where he was talking, and he said that Errol Spence was not a Hall of Famer, and it's kind of hard to say that. And then, you know, that's the biggest fighter. That's the biggest fight you ever had. So, you know, I'm with you. Like, it is tough. And he did say this about Bud and Canelo, which I thought was interesting. I'm going to play this for you real quick with him fighting Canelo. I thought this was interesting.
If you beat Canelo Alvarez.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to say if, I'm going to say when. When I beat Canelo Alvarez, I think I'm going to be, you know, top 3, pound for pound, best fighters ever. You know, I think Canelo is up there with the all-time greats too. You know, I already look at myself as an all-time great, but to move up essentially 3 weight classes, you know, and dethrone soon to be undisputed 168 champion without even stepping foot in that weight class or the weight class below is like some Henry Armstrong stuff. It's gonna be amazing. Like they always say, you never see a great small guy beat a great big guy, and I want to change that narrative.
Can I first say this?
Shoot.
Bud looking a little swole over there.
He's a big guy. He looks. I think he's going to look bigger than Canelo the day of the fight. I mean, Canelo. I think he's taller than Canelo. He has a longer reach than Canelo. But he did say something interesting, and he said if he beats Canelo Alvarez, he'll be considered top 3 fighters.
He said when?
When he said when of all time. Now, that's a crazy statement because it's kind of crazy because if Canelo beats him, is the same thing applicable to Canelo? And I say no. I mean, I feel like Canelo's not going to get the credit. But what do you think about his statement about him saying that he'll be top 3 pound for pound fighters ever? And not to mention that I was like, I had to bring up Manny Pacquiao, and there's a part of the interview he says he basically alludes to Manny Pacquiao shouldn't be there because of steroids. But please, what do you feel about his comments?
So I'm gonna just take it back to the original thing we first started with, saying that Charlo is not a Hall of Famer. So how can you just be like, I'm gonna be top 3 all of a sudden? And again,
Spence. Yep.
Huh?
You mean Spence?
Spence, yeah. Then Spence is Spence. And Spence is the biggest name on your resume. Now you fight Canelo, now you top 3? Whoa.
Ever.
It's bold. Bold ever. Listen, that's bold. But you know what I also find crazy is that he says that, but a lot of people, I think, which I find crazy, a lot of people think that Crawford is a better pound for pound fighter than Canelo.
Yeah.
It amazes me how many people say that. I'm just like, Listen, love Bud. Listen, I rock with Bud, and he's a great person as well. I've talked to him a few times, and I like it, but these some bold statements.
No, it's kind of crazy because I think people overrate being undefeated, in my opinion. I feel like, people, because Canelo's not undefeated, because we've seen him take losses, we take a lot away from him. But then you don't give him credit for him fighting outside of his weight. He's not, like you said, Bud is swole. Yeah, he's not that much. He might be bigger than Canelo. Canelo's fighting up in weight, and Bud understands how difficult Canelo's going to be. But I feel like people, because Canelo is not American, because Canelo, has a loss, they downplay it. I got Canelo in my top 3. I got Usyk is probably my number 1. Canelo's right there. Bud is up there as well. I got Bam Rodriguez up there. I got Bivol.
Listen, Bam. I need Bam to get the shot like tomorrow. Why is anyway coming to Vegas and not fighting Bam? Okay, but that's another subject.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. But no, listen, it is kind of crazy how this fight is viewed one way. Canelo really is not going to get credit, and it's crazy. He's not going to get credit for beating him, right? He knocks him out. He's not going to get the credit, and they will destroy him if he loses. They are going to attack him, and this is what Canelo was saying, and people downplay that. I'm like, you got to give Canelo credit for what he's done and what he's doing, and
yeah.
I get the Benavidez thing, but it is crazy.
Yeah.
He did crazy comments, but when I seen it, I was like, man, this is kind of crazy. But Bud has been doing a lot of interviews, and I've been watching them. I'm just like, oh, Bud is talking more than I've ever seen him talk. But I am looking forward to September 13th. It was funny because people were like, yo, is Bud going to come back? He's not coming back to 154. He's done. He's going to collect his bag. I think he's getting close to probably close to 100 million. You know what I mean? He's done. He knows what it is. He's not even taking a fight. His last fight was Madronov, which he took shots. And a lot of people like, yo.
And you know how I feel about that fight.
You felt like he won, right? Oh, Madronov?
I feel like Madronov had the fight.
Really? I mean, I'm gonna say this: if he takes the same shots, and he kind of alluded in the interview what he wants to do. He's like, yo, I don't have to knock him out. I have to outbox him. I got a longer reach. I can stay off. I feel like he's going to try to emulate a lot of what Floyd did and kind of stay in the pocket, but not put himself in harm's way. But Canelo's a different fighter. And, we have seen Bud get wobbled. And, Canelo has...
I think a body shot. Listen, I think most of the people that gonna face Canelo or have and everything, the body shot, I think, is what is going to take Crawford out. Like Canelo, like Crawford just said, right? Like he said, he's gonna outbox him. Listen, the last fight with Canelo, I mean, it was like picture perfect boxing, right? He's fighting like he's almost 40 years old, right? More calculated, more, precise. Like I don't even know how to explain it. So to say you're gonna outbox him, I think is another bold statement, But yeah, I think the body shot, and I think that honestly, I think this fight, we're gonna see Crawford getting his feelings at some point. And you know how they say the worst thing for a boxer is to fight off of emotion? I feel like Canelo is going to make him emotional at some point, and then that's when everything is gonna change.
I feel like people downplay Canelo's IQ. Like if he's just a sluggish fighter, just moves forward. I mean, the amount of pressure that Bud is going to face is going to be immense. I don't think he's ever faced somebody that's going to pressure him like Canelo's going to pressure him. And I think that, and I'm with you. And listen, Canelo's strong, but Bud is very strong too. And I feel like he's going to be holding a lot in that fight. He's not going to try to engage as much. He's going to try to wear Canelo down. I feel like he's going to have to also earn Canelo's respect. He's going to have to land something, in my opinion, that is going to make Canelo kind of fall back. And Canelo has the best chin in boxing by far. So
And I think he's gonna have to do it quick. Like I don't think Crawford is gonna have the time to do some warm up, fill out rounds and stuff like that. Like this card is about.
Oh, I don't know if you got a call. Yeah, Bud and Canelo is definitely going to be extremely interesting. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in. I don't know what happened. No, I think I feel like the pressure might get to him. The pressure. Canelo is going to be on him from the gate. Canelo is very calculated, like you said. He's a great body puncher.
And it's such a big fight. Like there's not going to be 4 rounds of filling each other out and all of that. Like Bud gonna have to come out swinging. He gonna have to come out quick and like you say, get the respect.
Yeah.
But also on the flip side, Canelo got one of the best chins in boxing. Like that's
and we're gonna see how good Terence Crawford's chin is and how good he handles that pressure. Listen, this is gonna be almost a 39-year-old Bud Crawford too. I think people forget, and he's going up almost 3 weight classes. He only had 1 fight at 154, so technically he's going to be going up 3 weight classes off of 1 fight. So it is going to be a tough challenge. But again, I feel like the odds are going to be almost even when that fight happens. I feel like a lot of people do believe that Bud is going to beat him. Most of the people I talk to tell me Bud's going to win. So
a lot of people listen. Like I said, I rock with Bud, but yeah, I'm going for Canelo on this one.
But we were talking about that Dana White situation with Turkey, right? And this is actually what Bud had to say about it. This is a really good interview, by the way. But there's another clip from that interview. That's what Bud had
Boxers get paid more than MMA. It's no comparison.
At the top.
No.
At the top.
As a whole. For instance, you'll see a guy headlining at the Spear. They probably be getting a couple of $1 million. But you'll see a guy on the undercard of a big show probably making more money than that guy.
Which guy?
Guys.
We don't want to open up the books now. We don't want to open up the books. You're right. I do agree. At your level right now.
Not me. I'm saying on the undercard. Because y'all do 1-on-1. You show up, you get 50,000. You win, you get another 50,000. You get the knockout of the year, you get another 25,000.
Let me say, for entry-level UFC fighters, when you first fight in the UFC, you might be making 10 and 10. You go out there and win, you $20,000.
Right.
To where there's boxers that maybe 7, 8, 10 and 0. Hey, you want to fight this fight? All right, $2,500. That's all I mean.
Okay, so let me break it down to you.
Right.
UFC, that's like the top of the top. So we talking about the big stage. So once you make it to the UFC, you in the big leagues now. When I make it to the big leagues, when I'm on TV, I'm making more than you making when you come into the UFC.
There's one thing that we can't say about the UFC. There's no running.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? How long did you have to go out there and literally chase a guy like Errol Spence before you made it happen? 5 years. How long did Floyd Mayweather had to fight Manny Pacquiao? 7 years. In the UFC, Dana White's like, you know what? You don't want to fight? Give me your belt. There's also a pride to be able to say that I'm also fighting the best competition at the right time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's somewhat of a double-edged sword. There's a competition side, but then there's also the financial side too.
I can agree with you on that.
My fault. Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a good piece. But what do you think about what he said in regards to basically we were talking about earlier? What do you feel about what he was saying? But
I mean, listen, both sides I think were a good point. But I like how the interviewer came back, like with as far as the timing of when you get to fight the top and being able to duck and not duck, but have all these years in between before you fight the best competition. And now I actually would like to look at the statistics as far as financially, not the base pay of the boxer versus the MMA, but who has more sponsorships? Who has more deals and things like that? Because if I may say, I think UFC, a UFC fighter gets way more in that category. Therefore, they get paid way more than a boxer.
Yeah, I feel like the fact that there's a structure, there's an actual pay scale. Fighters have more to look forward to. Now, what Bud's saying, when you're on TV and you're this, think about this for a second. I don't know what that is, but it looks good. There's not a lot. I mean, you get more fights in UFC. If you think about it, boxers, you know how many boxers out there trying to get a big fight?
Trying to get fight.
Yeah, so it's for the fans, I think it's a plus because Dana makes the best fight the best, or you're losing that belt. Dana don't play those games. And how long we haven't got the Canelo Benavidez fight? How long did it take to get the Floyd versus Manny Pacquiao fight? Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence. For the fans, I think it's a plus. For the elite fighters, for the fighters that are getting paid a lot, it's not beneficial. But for the majority of fighters, yo, if you look at the average fighter's pay a year is $30,000. That's absolutely crazy. And then there's another thing. Check this out.
The risk your life.
There's an average of 13 boxers that die every year. 13
Now, can we talk about that? I'm glad you brought that up. Can we talk about that?
Talk about it.
Because who was it? Ellie Setback did a video and he brought up some good points about that number and whether that's factual or not, that number. And I don't know, like what is that number based on? Things reported, things not reported. Could that number be higher? Could it be less? Are we only looking at the pro fights, versus like amateurs and things like that? I thought that was really interesting. But the one thing that I did not like about that post, right? Now, I'm from Cleveland, city of Charles Conwell. And that post, the originator of that post, used a picture of him and Patrick Day. And I thought that was so tasteless. I thought it was so tasteless because, I get it. You're talking about that statistic, but man, really? No. Like, I thought that was so trash. So whoever made that original post, you're trash for that. Well, on the record saying that.
No, absolutely. But think about this. One death is more than enough. You know what I'm saying? I could name you 5-6 people I know that
part right there
this year. I mean, we just lost somebody about a month and a half ago. He fought 13 times in a year. How are you allowing a fighter to fight 13 times in a year? Who is commissioning this? Who's policing this? And I feel like that's the big problem with boxing. And listen, Ellie Setback is who he is, but he's not going to go against his people. Everybody knows he's he's going to support the Robert Garcia fighters or whoever he's cool with. But in reality, if you really look at it, bro, there's a lot of deaths in boxing. How many deaths have you heard in UFC? Dana White got rid of very hard on testing for steroids in the UFC. There's a lot of things that in boxing boxers don't get. Medical care. It's just one of those things where when you really break it down, it's pretty sad. I'm not gonna front. If you really think about it, it's really sad. And 13 boxes is crazy. And that's why I think, with Dana White being there and listen, again, people talk about the pay scales and stuff like that, but there's more fights. I feel like there's a UFC fight every weekend, literally. You know what I mean? They didn't lose the ESPN deal. Top Rank did. You know what I mean? They get in that Netflix situation. So to me, I think it's beneficial for fighters, and I think a lot of fighters are looking at it like it's more beneficial to go to fight for Turkey. And think about it. You're fighting for Turkey Al-Asik. He's the one that's paying all these guys all that money. So
listen, because I will learn how to speak in Arabic. Listen.
Yeah.
Come on. Give me that check too.
No, listen, I'm definitely with you. And I think people do not pay attention to that. People talk about, oh, look at the pay. But I'm like, dog, I know so many boxers. What's her name? Chicken. She just won the belt. Oh, she's a champion. She's the IBF champion, right? Women's champion.
Slim.
Like 25,000.
That's
insane. That's crazy. How are you offered 25,000, 30,000 when you're a champion? Now, if you're a champion of the UFC, right? If you got one of the major belts, it's $750,000. That's a big jump. You know what I mean? So if you really look at it from that perspective, the majority of these boxers aren't getting millions. It's a handful of them. Maybe Shakur's getting good money, getting like $3 million a fight. Not everybody. Nobody's Canelo. Nobody's Gervonta. Nobody's Ryan Garcia. You know what I mean? But I feel like, with this situation, I feel as if you're going to see more money being made for these fighters. You know what I mean? Especially with them understanding the type of power they have and the type of fighters that are out there that can actually, I don't know where else she went. Oh, let me get this one out of here. They got the actual fighters. Like you got Floyd, you got Oscars, you got a lot of powerful fighters. They may be able
Oh
to.
snap! Listen, whatever happened, now I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me. Oh my God! What did you do? What did you do?
Changed something for me, but I
It's gotta
can't.
be.
You're
It's
really, really, really low.
You said I'm low.
So listen, I don't want you to have to do nothing and all of that. Listen, I think it's me. So I'm gonna get off so you don't have to
No, it's all
keep
good.
messing up everything.
No, I appreciate you. Go enjoy your food. Appreciate you. On that note, thank you.
Now
Let them know
Morris
where
is
you can find
gone.
you,
What is
Chef.
happening?
There you go. Let them know where they can
But
find you.
listen, if you guys can still hear me, follow me on Instagram at Chevy Red Official. It's Chevy CHEVI. Follow me on there.
All right, girl. You have a good one. That was your girl, Chevy Red. She's very dope, knows her stuff. One of the only, I think the only female ring announcer I've ever seen, and she's motivated to become the next big, the next big thing over there. So I'm definitely rooting for her. You know what I mean? I appreciate everybody that's been tuning into the show, man. We've been starting to get a lot of subscribers, a lot more people tuning in. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, hit the notification button, all those things. I'm here. We're gonna continue to build this channel brick by brick, and I'm enjoying what I'm doing right now, man. There's a lot of people starting to support. Shout out to my guy Jamel Herring. That's my dog right there. You know what I mean? Chef. Shout out to my guy, Jamel Herring, man. Dope guy. You know what I mean? He's been very supportive of me. And I'm very supportive of him, and I hope he comes back soon because we need voices like him. Shout out to all these people. We're gonna have Lou DeBella on this week. Shout out to Lou DeBella. I was supposed to have an interview. I don't know what happened, but I'm gonna have more interviews on there. I'm trying to get everybody. People are starting to recognize the show. We're not far off. By the end of this year, I'm gonna have some crazy shit, man. This is gonna continue to grow. But make sure y'all push it on the YouTube channel too, please, because X and everywhere else, people are tuning in. Share, like, subscribe, hit the notification button, donate, do whatever you want to do. Make sure you spread the word. I'm here, we're here. I rock with y'all. It's your boy Norbs, and we are out of here.